obey the lecture today? Yeah. Although you're super fluent in Italian, you should. We have the pleasure and the honor of having as a guest the architect Arturo Vittori, who's the architect who designed the, at least current, Macchina di S.Rosa, which many of you are familiar with and all the USAC students have seen right after arriving in Viterbo. Arturo Vittori is an architect. He has a studio that works nationally and internationally, and he will also talk, besides Fiore del Cielo, and you can ask questions on his projects that space from urban design to space design to yacht design. He studied at the university and got his degree at the University of Florence, and has been teaching as a lecturer at University in Venice, and is a research professor at the Illinois Institute of Technology in the United States. And he also has ongoing projects currently in the US, and he will talk about, or you can ask questions. So I'll leave you the stage. Prego. So, thank you very much.
So I'm glad to be here. Thanks for your presence. Let's go quickly through the presentation. So I was taught to talk about the project Macchina di S.Rosa because you are a designer, and you will have kind of workshop this afternoon concerning designing a new Macchina. So you are my competitor right now. So I must be careful to not disclose too many secrets. But actually not. Our project is really open source. I like to show you everything. So this is why I brought so many pictures. I will go through it quickly. And if you have any curiosity, information, question, whatever, feel free to ask. We want really to share with you this know-how we acquired, which is really unique. So, La Macchina di S.Rosa is an emotion. You may have seen from real. If yes, please raise your hand. I want to have an idea how many. So almost everybody, just Ferdinando doesn't. So you know what it is in real, which is very good. Often when we present it to a public, they don't even know about it. So it's difficult to give an idea what is in reality. It's unique. It is a unique invention by the city of Viterbo. The city is very proud, first because it's for Santa Rosa, and there is this incredible belief in her. And because it's a tradition which is almost 700 years old. Let's move quickly forward. I like numbers. So 3rd of September, once a year, 30 meters, under Facchini, 5 years, 5,000 kilograms, 1,000 candles. Here are other numbers, 5 months, the time we had to build it. 3,000 renderings is what we did. 50 prototypes, 5 animation, 500 drawings, and 3 up to 5 hours sleep per night for this 5 months, which is also true. Not just me, the entire team. So, when we start with a new project, we welcome inspiration. That's very important in order to be creative, to do something different and good. So you see, in the last 300 years, the Macchina has been evolving, not just in height, but the reason why every 5 years we have new competitions, because to be a tradition that is kept for so long must be innovated. So this is what is very important for you as a new designer. It is to change and improve and evolving, to create something new that people will look at it and say, wow, maybe they don't like it at the beginning, but it's something different. So the curiosity is rising. And as you know, this is the path through the old town, 5 main stops, in reality 7, with the last one at the Santuario di Santa Rosa. So we start from Porta Romana, San Sisto, and we go through the entire city in the night. But I wouldn't talk about the event itself. The request was to explain you and to tell you the work we did as designer and how we developed this project from the concept. So, from the very first inspiration, of course, Santa Rosa. We have a memory of her through picture, through drawings, through sculptures. This is the sculpture which is above Porta Romana, and she's holding the cross. But unique, really. We have the body so well kept that is really unbelievable. So that has been the main inspiration, her life. And then the city of Viterbo is where she lived. So one of the most important buildings, Palazzo Papale. But just to explain you briefly the approach. So this is something very beautiful. We know what it is, but what it's telling us is telling that there is a know-how, it was a know-how at the time, how to express art and architecture in such a beautiful, elegant way. You see, the material is brought to the minimum. So you have a structure which is a very lightweight, not just physically light, but also psychologically. You can feel this is not an heavy building, and even built with stone. So a similar approach we wanted to express in our project, as you see, this perforation, this idea of transparency, of seeing behind it, of lightness, is what we wanted to carry on. It's one of the concepts. Or for instance, in the Middle Age, when this building was built, symbols that were very important. So we communicate a lot with, symbols like lions, and we have been looking to all these elements, and we brought them into the Macchina somehow. So the city was another inspirational point, and then the rose, because Santa Rosa, the idea of something growing, the growth of a structure, and the light, very important. Also because it's a night event, so the light is everything. Inspired by how we can create a light which is visible, which is mystic, which gives us emotion, and create an experience. So here now I will go through a series of sketches from the very first, where you see that Santa Rosa was actually at the core of the structure, not at the top. So from this, we have been working on it for almost 2 years, not full time, but we knew that the competition was going to happen sooner or later in the future, so we started in advance. Also because, as a citizen of Viterbo, I dream about designing the Macchina since I was a child. So that was the occasion to start to sketch something. And so the sketch start to become something, more consistent. You see 2 spheres, but always people nearby, because the Macchina is designed for them, to celebrate Santa Rosa. And all series of interaction we wanted to have. You see the idea of the smoke of incenso coming out, and leaves, petals, you see already here. So that was a very early sketch that has been growing. The idea to bring also some natural elements. We have beautiful, unique parks in this area. So Nifeo from Bagnaia, Villa Lante, was also a concept to bring nature inside. Why not? And we start to develop also the concept of the spiral as a geometry, because the spiral, it is the geometry of the DNA. And what we wanted to do with the Macchina is to tell the story of Santa Rosa, the DNA of the city of Viterbo. So the DNA structure in order to tell the story of Santa Rosa. So the design is evolving, now material coming clearly developed. The light effect, you see, the sphere, before there were 1, now 2, then there are 3, you see the petals effect. So this is a design process, lasts, you don't know how long. You do express brainstorming ideas, and then you leave them there, and then you look again, and then you modify something, and then you go back to the previous one. So it's a process which can be as long as you want, even one life. So, and we had some time because we start in advance. You see, it's getting closer to the final one, the one you see a few months ago in Viterbo. Up to this, which was actually the rendering that won the competition, because there is a competition. And this competition is going to happen soon now. And at the time, it was 2008. We participate. This is a view from top of the structure we are designing. And when I saw it first, I immediately connected to the rose, which was one inspiration point. But then I understood that the path we were following was going somewhere. So there is this idea of the flower. You see from top now, there is really this mix of, elements that is becoming like a natural things. So 13th of October, actually, 2008 was a submission deadline, 12 o'clock. We arrived a few minutes before because I made it wrong. I went to the wrong place, and but then I managed it. So 4 boards. That was the winning concept on 76. I think this was the amount of participants. And at the time, I was living in Chicago, and after I submit the competition, I went to Chicago and start my new life, let's say, over there. And one night, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, it was already the 2nd of February, I received a call, hai vinto, complimenti, hai vinto la Macchina di S.Rosa. I even forgot about it because it was so far away from me at the moment that competition was, a few months after. And in fact, I opened the web and I found the news, so it was true. Unbelievable. So 2nd of February. Few months after, March, also the competition for constructing the Macchina was won. So what that means, that from that point, you can start to talk to the company that will build your idea, and you can start. But the problem or the difficulty was we are already at the beginning of March, and when is Santa Rosa? September, 3rd of September. So how many months we have to work on it? April, May, and then there's the summer, so really short. So immediately I packed all my stuff. I was, in Chicago, teaching there. So I packed all my stuff and I finished my classes and I came back to Viterbo. Here I am at the moment. So it really had an impact in my life as well, this adventure. And this is the concept that now is becoming reality little by little. And I don't want to tell you the meaning of the different levels and why it is like this, but this is what we had to show to the company and say, we want to build this. How do we do that? As an architect, you also have to have an idea how to construct things. So at the time I was teaching in Chicago, I had a studio of more or less 25 students, and I proposed to them, because it was the beginning of the workshop, if you want to participate, you can also work on this project, which is very unique. I made a presentation, then at the end everybody wanted to work on that. And in fact we started immediately, and we have been working also weekend, and because the time frame very short and the mission very ambitious. So now I explain you, dividing different part of the project, how it is organized, what is the inspiration, how we construct it, and starting from the bottom, from the base. So you have different elements like palma, lions, these steps. Let's have a look closer. So facchini, most important things of the Macchina, because this is the engine. Really, without them, it wouldn't happen. So you have to take this under consideration. It's not a building, it's a structure which is moving with human power, muscle power. So the beautiful steps in Viterbo, this geometry, unique. We have been studying the proportion, how to bring it across the Macchina. But also, Iconography, very important, we say the Middle Age, and the lion, the palm, symbol of Viterbo. There are many lion and palms. I don't know if you know all of this, but we have been going through all the different cities and buildings to find this beautiful, beautiful reference. And Foul is actually the initial of 3-4 cities that have been constituted with the time Viterbo. And we are also showing on the lower part of the structure. Then the idea also was to have sculptural elements on the bottom to make it, rich and heavier, because this is the part that people can see better, closer to them, so more details. And as an architect, today you don't really work with sculptural elements anymore. You don't do a lion for your building anymore. In the Middle Age, that was really usual, and beautiful buildings that decorated with sculpture. Today we don't do. So we have to deal also how to incorporate lions and sculpture on the structure. So you see the structure recalls the fontana we have in Palazzo Papale, but also the reference like the lion face in here. So we try to select the best inspiration we had from the city. And then the spiral above the base, there is this spiral shape, which is also in a way indicated from this fountain, beautiful fountains in Viterbo. This is one of those. When I was a child, this is how I was looking at this fountain with these two big lions and this, let's say, spiral shape going through the sky. So this is the image I always had of Viterbo, because, with these very strong animals. And this is in a way what we wanted to achieve with our project. Also the spiral as an idea to tell a story, like the Colonna Traianea in Rome. Art has been used to communicate when maybe not everybody is able to read, but with art you can tell a story, like the story of the Roman Empire, or other use of spiral in art and the DNA. So we wanted this to be the DNA of Santa Rosa, and these bands around in a spiral shape, connecting the ground to the sky, are telling us the story and the life of Santa Rosa in different steps. So then, how do you make these, drawings to become reality? So we start to analyze paneling possibility, putting together in a flower way shapes that you can build in an economical way without too complicate tools, and create something decorative, something beautiful. This was one idea. Another possibility you see in 3D, the complexity, because these spirals are double curved. So how do you make a double curve in an economical way? So we try also to create panels, triangular panels, that when you mount them together, you don't see the panels anymore, but you feel a surface. And this is actually what we developed with the time. And you see, this is the flat surface of the spiral. Once you cut it and you mount it, they will become this complex shape. And this is what we wanted to achieve. And this is what we achieved. Decoration also is a very important element. In Viterbo there is very beautiful traditional, ceramic tradition called zaffra, and you see how beautifully they, let's say, abstract nature with this shape. These are leaves, animals, you see here. So, starting from that, we started to create roses out of this surface, cutting the surface itself and bending it. And then covering it with textile, not flammable textile, we try to simulate in a way the rose. And all these roses, they were built by hand. You see the roses here, the structure, still without textile. There is a little light inside. In fact, each rose has a LED light, so all together they can be programmed to move and to illuminate in a random way. And this is the detail of the rose finished. So we many tests how to represent the rose from far away. We wanted to use real rose, but that's not feasible. Dry rose, but also they burn. So it was a long process up to design our own. So the entire structure, 30 meters, is full of little detail and things designed, customers designed for it. And one of the elements we proposed was the petals as a symbol of Santa Rosa to bring across and to interact with the public. So the Macchina actually, what does is deliver to the people the petals, and they can take it and bring it with them as a souvenir, as a memory of the event of Santa Rosa. So that was the idea, so it actually worked. And to explain it, we have been using also tools like animation, very important because this is the dynamic things. You can say, yes, there is a petal falling. How? What's happened? What do you feel? How, what do you see? So here we are still before the construction itself. We are still explaining to our public we want to achieve this. So to do it with digital animation, 5 years ago was already a challenge, but to do it real, even more. How do you do it? I don't know. But let's try, let's experiment. And we did. So let's move forward quickly. Lions, another very important element in the tradition, from the local lion, symbol of Viterbo. But also we have been looking to international reference for lion that kids they recognize, because today this is the lion people really recognize all around the world. So how to get a lion that is a lion for everybody? Because in Viterbo there are special lions, medieval lions, and at the time the lion was a mix between a human figure and an animal. So anthropomorph. And we have been studying also this in order to express what we believe was a good, a good image of the medieval modern lion. So those sketches first, but also we wanted to model it in order to render it and to see it together with the structure. So for my very first time in life, I drew in 3D a lion, which was super complex things. I couldn't believe that it was so complicated. So I've been experimenting different software. And then finally, when we had the shape, it was always almost good. We printed it in 3D. So very easy then. You can print whatever you want. But the problem is we needed a lion big like this. So this is the maximum we could achieve with the 3D printer. So now the task was how to do a big lion out of the 3D in 1 month and a half. So we have been looking around, and we found this little house in Switzerland, on the top of a mountain, very difficult to find, where apparently an artist was very skilled sculpting animals. So we sent him an email with the drawing, what we want to achieve. And when we arrived there, and it took us 1 day to find it, nobody was there. So we entered little by little inside the house, the wooden house, and what we found was this and then we say, that's the right place. We got it, but nobody was there. And still, this was so big, the same dimension of the one we had previously. But then in another room, we found him like this, and then we were very, happy to see something was going on and in the real scale. So Pascal Bauer, Swiss artist, is the one who did actually the lion. And very quickly, had to leave all the job he had. He told us it's impossible, I can't do it in such a short time. In fact, 4th of August, he came to my house in Bomarzo and delivered 3 lions in the garden. So that was a big step for us. The lions were there, all the rest was still missing. But and we had some trouble with the cinghiali because we have a lot of cinghiali, wild pigs in the area. So since they arrived, they create a mess, a lot of tension in the field. But anyway, and this is the lion once finished and colored. Another challenge was for the angels. Angels being used, but how to do today an angel wasn't easy decision. So look, here we are in Venice, beautiful angel with golden wings. And also Giovanni Battista, and the way Leonardo da Vinci represented the angel was very interesting, with one finger indicating the sky and the other one the ground. There's actually one angel with this posture in Viterbo, in a church I found. I wouldn't disclose which church that is, but if you want to find it, then let me know if you manage it. So there is this, because they've been asking me why this strange posture. This is the reason. So we have been studying with little model, with plastering, but also 3D modeling these angels wasn't really easy. So sketching how could be young, old, with dress, without dress, how do you do it? So we have been looking through different possibilities. And then also we found what we believe was the right artist to do it. We started also modeling and applying the angel to the structure. And then with Francesca Di Nunzio in Rome, we started to experiment some little models in scale. And she was so skilled, she worked for the cinema, for Cinecittà. So she does scenography, and she sculpts scenography. So she quickly presented us this possibility, and we were very happy to do the job with her. The problem is still the scale. There was little model. In very short time, we have to do a big one. So with the same technique, actually, this technique, sculpting by hand, we give her the job, and she, in 3 weeks, she delivered us the big angel. You see the little model and the big one. So all sculpted by hand. So computer graphics didn't help at all, but was a way to start to develop it, and the angel mounted in the structure. And the most important part, Santa Rosa, of course, looking through how to represent the best, the original dress, and everything, as I already told you before, through sketch and 3D simulation. Designing also, Santa Rosa wasn't very big, actually, it was quite small, but we have to make something visible because it's up there 30 meters, so we have to compromise it to make a big sculpture which is almost 3 meters high. So that's the rendering, and this is the real thing. Globi, the spheres. How to create such a big sphere which is almost 4 meters out of, simple process, because we have to do it fast and not expensive. So we have been developing different process how to make a sphere out of flat elements, and we like very much this idea, the last one, where with pentagons you can build a sphere. So 60 pentagons, you can build this beautiful sphere with one piece. The problem was we wanted to have a kind of organic, aspect, aesthetics. This is too much geometric still. So we have been playing with the students with scripts. And we found this Voneroy script, which is very, very interesting. So how nature design, you know, this beautiful structure, which are called out of the mathematical discovery of this equation, which is the Russian Voneroy. So we put together these two components, and we found this element, which is still a pentagon, but when you put together identical pentagon like this is in a flat situation, but you mount it, you see here, the sphere, portion of the sphere was mounted, this is a small model. You lose the feeling of this, you know, pentagonal shape, but it becomes an organic element. And from this, we waterjet print it, and we built the real one. Here you still see the face of the pentagon, because the holes, they must be open. But once you open it, this is what you see. And all this piece of metal sheet opening up, they reflect the light and they create a very beautiful effect. Also because the scenography, what we wanted to do with the Macchina, is very important. So you see the idea that from the bottom to the top, the spheres, there are 3 spheres, they illuminate themselves one after the other, and they tell the story of the saint, from the life to the miracle to the ascension to heaven. And then this communion, this hug of the saints to the people through the petals, following petals. So what is behind all this, in order to simulate it, is something as complicated as that. This is developed with a software called Cinema. So we put all the information together inside it, lights, wind, atmosphere, also physics element, and then we render it in order to simulate and see. This is a static rendering, but we wanted to do also a dynamic simulation. So you see the lights now are moving, or also when the structure moves, the light inside the sphere transfers this pattern, this Voneroy pattern, to the building. So this is what we want to achieve, this kind of interaction between the city and the structure. And this was a simulation, but then actually, in reality, this is what happens. We achieved this effect. Or we try also simulating the candle lights. I don't know if you've seen the effect that is super difficult to do, but the candles, they have a lot of impact, also because there are thousands of them. Impact on the lighting of the scenography. So, and also there are movements, so it's something shaking continuously. Spending night after night simulating that, trying to find the best compromise, is not easy at all. And after experiment on experiment, we decide for a setting that I will show you quickly. This is a video showing the construction phase. It's an artist in Viterbo came to take short movies of the construction and put together in this short animation. So that was the summer 2009, very hot summer for us, because we can see we are very busy constructing. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience, actually. So moving forward quickly, we have still 15 minutes. Structure. Structure is not something you want to hide. Structure must be like the rose, you know, visible and beautiful, and also an aesthetic impact. So we have been looking to resistant but also lightweight structures in nature, and not just in nature. And here you see we start to understand how to construct it in modules, because it's 30 meters high, but you have to bring it to lower pieces, because during the year you have to stock somewhere. So you also design in that way. You have to cut like a cake your sculpture in pieces. This is the sculpture, the final structure, finished, and I was very happy to see it because it was beautiful itself, without all the rest. And then the first test, how to mount it, the structure with the part of the decoration. Very exciting to see that growing up. And this is how it is actually constructed. It takes up to 3 or 4 hours to do it. It's actually very simple. It's like a Lego system. But because it's well designed, this is why it's so simple. Because you have to take this aspect into consideration since the very beginning, how you mount it. And the construction of the Macchina, it is a show itself. I advise you to go next time to look at it. So the last modules, there we reach the top. We are around 25 meters now. You see, there are not many people. 2 cranes. Precision work, and it's done. But now, the most important part is still missing, Santa Rosa, which is arriving. She doesn't arrive with the rest, but will come after, in the afternoon, actually in the evening. So, because also it's official events, the mayor is coming and they will do the public event, the media are also attending that moment. So as you can see, the sky is changing, so we are going through the afternoon now. And the sculpture is actually arrived, I think. The square is getting busier and busier, clouds are coming. Here we are. Santa Rosa is here. So mission completed. So the last aspect I would like to tell you is about the color, because we have been also pushing a bit on this direction. Why the Macchina must be without color, black and white? We wanted to express with color, feeling, emotion, sensation. And in the night you don't see color, or you see what the lights let you perceive for the color. But during the day, in the Macchina, you can see it for a month outside in the city. It is visible. So we have been choosing colors with the meaning. So gold, red, green, each of them for a reason, because we know that colors are used also in the religion to express the concept, to express the meaning. But even in our Pusha, Etrusci, they have been doing it using the color, wasn't a black and white art. So why the Macchina shouldn't be like this? And this was quite a change for the tradition. But still, it was a nice experience to see all the different tests we did in order to reach this right gold, which is not a gold, but it's a mix between this color and that color. So it was a long process itself in a short time in order to achieve what we wanted. And this is the picture of the Fiore del Cielo during the transportation. It's the one of the picture I like the most. And you see the scale of the structure compared to the people underneath carrying it, and also the building where they stopped, actually the roofs, and the width of the street. So you have also this information, the width, which is 4 meters, and the length, which is 6 meters. So this is what you have to use, and that's it. And the height, 30 meters, which is almost 100 feet. And to conclude, I would like to show you all the people that have been working on that project. It's not just me. I got the title of ideatore, but in reality it's a big team behind it. And many of them have been working very, very intensively and with passion on it. Like my colleague Andreas, and a student from Chicago, Pascal Bauer, the sculpture, and many others, and Gianni Mastironi, which is the scenographer, which actually today here with us has been contributing really in an enormous way, because you have to work with different specialists. You can't think to do it your own. It is not feasible. So Santa Rosa and the Macchina di Santa Rosa, it is a machine, a scenographical machine. I don't know if that is a correct English expression, but this is why I think it's called Macchina, because not just because it moves, but also because it does something. And I think in the future, for the new design and new ideatore, this is what should be pushed more and more to be always more, suggestive, more, create more emotion, because this is what brings people and the attention to Santa Rosa again, and will bring the tradition forward in the future. Thank you very much. If you have any question for me or for Gianni Mastironi, we are here for 5 more minutes, and otherwise next will be for you to design the next time.
But I have a quick question. First, we want to thank you for the great presentation you gave. All of you who saw Santa Rosa for the first time, but even for us who've seen it for several years, a great understanding of what's behind, all the numbers that stand behind the one day, the few hours of the passing of Santa Rosa through the town. So mostly for the international students who study abroad, or any student who study, who have a goal, who work. We have many students from the studio art classes. And so how would you motivate students or young workers to achieve a goal, not to give up, or to start something new, like a new project or something?
So that's very difficult question, but the motivation must be new. So this, our profession is a very difficult one, and in order to achieve something, you have to know from now that it wouldn't be easy. So the easy way doesn't exist. In architecture, for this project or for other, in order to achieve something good, there's a lot of work. It is because it's not just knowledge, it's also human relation. The architect is a profession that is in the middle of a big orchestra, different players, and you have to be there putting all this together. So if you really want to do it, it will be difficult, but then the satisfaction to do something like this, or to have a building in a city, or to have a piece of design, designed by your own alive there is something incredible. So the feedback, the payback is huge, but the effort you have to put in it is also very big. From now, as a student, you have to do that.
Domande anche in italiano, se volete, non sentite in dovere di farle in inglese. Qualche domanda degli studenti di Studio Art? Any specific questions? Sì.
What got you interested in doing architecture? Especially like in Italy, I feel like you guys don't really have like new buildings or anything. You're just doing a lot of restoration of things that are here. So what made you want to do this career?
So either you are from the United States?
I'm from New York.
New York,
Yeah,
so pretty different than here. So in Italy, as you can see, the city are quite full, no space for new building. In the States, you still have, free fields where to. So there is a different approach. What is interesting, I think, for you, and to see both, to see that here the way we work is with small interventions sometimes and really difficult, complex, because there is a lot of culture, history, and so on. In the States, it's the opposite. But if you get both exposure, so the way you will design in future will be more conscious of, having an heritage in a place, and maybe not allowed to do whatever you want, and the other one, the freedom to be able to build something which is missing here. So I think that the experience you are doing right now makes a lot of sense to get both experience together. But while you're here, you have to learn that, and you have to experience that on the ground.
When you were like a student and you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do with your life, you knew you wanted to go down a creative path. Were you ever at a crossroads with yourself or for sure you wanted to do architecture, or did you want to use your creativity to go and do other things? Or was it always architecture?
So this has been a really long path, I'm still looking for my way. It's not like now I know what I want. But the way I process and I do it is like experimenting. So I do something and I try to understand if I like it and don't, and then I see where I put more energy, more motivation, what I like to do. There I can express myself the best. So I try to do what I really like, because then I have the most of the results. So I didn't know I want to be an architect, but little by little, doing what I like. Now I have the title of an architect, but I'm doing also unusual things than, let's say, the architects normally do.
What other creative things do you find yourself?
Creative? In which way?
As far as art, or is it music, or something where you're able to use your creativity? Is it?
Absolutely.
What is an example? Even when you were younger, as a student?
I think what is very, very, very important for me is the experiment to invent something new, to push the boundary. So how can you do that? You have to look around you, and the past as well. So what has been done before and what today you can do with new technology. So technology itself is cold, but if you understand how to use it to create emotion, then you have it. So there is always something new you can do, because the world is changing continuously. So even Santa Rosa structure, which is a tower that is 700 years, tradition, this project we presented, it breaks through many of the pre-concept of the structure. So we introduced new kind of technology, new lights, new material, and we made completely, let's say, building a completely new approach. So even with this long tradition, you can innovate. So this is what I think it's interesting. And it doesn't matter if it is art, music, or it is this way to express and to contribute to the evolution somehow with your intelligence and your skills, using what you have around you.
Is there something that helps you inspire yourself more, like music or a landscape or architecture, art, ancient or modern? Do you have a favorite or?
Yes, I have many favorites, like nature. Obviously, it's an incredible, source of inspiration. But also daily news, because you have to act today for something in the future. So reading the news, you understand what we need today best. So there are problems in the world that you can contribute to solve. So what we are very keen with architecture and vision is also to design things that can do something better and more for our society. So this is also an inspiration on the needs. It's not just a client coming to you and say, I want to have a funky, strange building, but also to think, what can I do if nobody is asking me, but I know that I can contribute for it.
During the project, how you share the idea between you and
Gianni.
scenography and
2,000-3,000 renderings, discussing one by one.
you
How will
need
you-
some time also, no?
No, he
just
was
with
in
compu-
Chicago. I was.
Just with computer, with telephone, with
But
it's
3,000.
difficult.
We discuss it one by one, detail by detail.
That it was so difficult, no?
No, it
No,
was a
simple.
pleasure.
Pleasure, okay.
To be awake at 5 o'clock in the morning to wait for the rendering to arrive to Skype. It's also why it's exciting to work today with new technology, because you can do more than before. And you can communicate with the entire world in parallel. You can move with your office around. So, and this is how we work with Gianni as well. That has been,
This is
behind the
interesting,
project
no?
on road.
This is interesting to share the idea with media.
And the competition for the designs
And between
is public, I think. Anybody can apply.
For sure. So since this Macchina and this competition is an open competition, international one, unless they change the rules this year, which I don't know, but otherwise everybody can participate. So I actually invite you to bring your absolutely unique experience. And my students from Chicago, they came also this year to see it, and they're so proud that the IIT in Chicago, they made a big exhibition about the project, because they look at it like incredible, but it is unique, you've seen it, so please participate, contribute to it.
Are you going to apply for the next one?
Unless Gianni wants to do it.
Another 3,000 renderings. Kobe.
I was wondering, you mentioned a little bit, but how did it feel to, you said you grew up in Viterbo, so how did it feel to have grown up here, seeing the Macchina over all those years? Did you, like, sketch Macchina designs when you were a kid? And like, I mean, and
It's
that
like
must have been
a dream that becomes true. You have a dream and it becomes true. Sometimes better it doesn't, because the dreams grows in sometimes they happen to be realized, and that was the case. So when I was a child, I still remember the first time I assisted the Macchina, because you hear about it. Macchina Santa Rosa, big structure, you dream. You don't see it, but you dream. Before, without television, I just hear, let's say, comments, and I was imagining with huge wheels and with horses, gold horses, bringing the Macchina. And then when first I was there, Piazza del Teatro, attending the Macchina on the shoulder of my father, was waiting and waiting and waiting, never arriving, and finally, from the Via del Corso, I started to see the lights, even before the Macchina. There was such and all the people there, the crowd, and it was so emotionally, so intense, and really marked my imagination. And since, still dreaming these big horses and the wheels and everything. So it was like, but then in reality it's different. You don't have wheels, you don't have horses, and then you have to deal with normal people that construct something real, but still it's a dream. So it's like a dream that becomes real.
No more questions? Basta? Va bene. Well, thank you again,
Thanks for the invitation.
Arturo Vittori. I hope it's been instructional, inspirational.
If not, you can complain.
We're going to see your sketches for the new Macchina, brainstorming of ideas. Then we submit them to Gianni, and he will talk about it. You can email it to them. Va bene.
So I want to leave a present for you, for your library. It's a book that collects the work of our company. It's also Fiore del Cielo inside, so I will leave it to you.
Thank you. Grazie mille. And if you want, just outside, there's a little piccolo buffet with some snacks. Don't finish it all. Leave something for us. We're going to come out.